So I needed to get some lunch today, and after having done some yard work projects, I decided, hey, I'm gonna come down to the Flying Star again and have a little bit of lunch and relax on this beautiful fall afternoon. I love the patio at the Flying Star, and best of all is, hey, I got the ice Java going. Well, it was a little bit of a breezy morning today riding the scooter. I rode down and stopped off at John Lewis's Business Systems. That's the only active typewriter repair shop in Albuquerque. I had a chat, and he's doing okay, though his shop was broken into last week, I believe. But anyways, we saw him, talked, and we're going to hopefully try to see the California Typewriter movie either later this week or early next week, so hopefully that'll be okay. And I'm looking forward to lunch. I'm pretty hungry. I was doing some digging of fence posts in my front yard and got kind of hungry, so I ordered me a patty melt here at the Flying Star. All right, waiting for my food to get here. Well, there is a pretty hefty size patty melt sandwich right there with bacon on it and everything. That ought to fill me up. So I'm not sure what kind of plants these are. It might be a variety of bamboo, but we're looking for something like this to plant along the back wall of our backyard. I really like this kind of stuff, you know, especially in New Mexico. If you can get something that doesn't take too much water, it really gives you a lot of greenery and a lot of shade. Well, that was a pretty good lunch. I gotta say, I probably won't need a big dinner now. My choice here is I can go north on Rio Grande Boulevard to the North Valley, and it's a nice drive. Or if I go south on Rio Grande Boulevard, I can go over to Old Town, and maybe I'll go over to the Old Town Farms just to show you maybe the entrance to it, where we went yesterday morning with a bicycle ride. This is an urban farm, a working farm, and they have a bike-in, coffee and snacks for bicyclists. It's right adjacent to the bike trail, so we're not really on a bike, obviously we're on a motor scooter, but maybe we'll go down to Old Town and take a look at that, shall we? Well, here we are on Montoya Road. This is off Mountain, west of Rio Grande. You go north, it says dead end, so Rio Grande, or Mountain Road, is south, and if you go north, it is a dead end. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's the sound of traffic in the distance. That's Interstate 40 beyond those trees. But the reason why I'm down here is because right over here we have Old Town Farm. And they're kind of a bicycle-friendly community back here. And they have this bicycle-friendly coffee and breakfast thing going on Saturdays and Sundays. And so we are very close to one of the major bicycling trails that parallels Interstate 40. And there's also, in the communities around here, south of here, there's a lot of bike trails. So it's a really cool place to go down in here and bicycle in and have your food and coffee. And then there's all kinds of nice seating areas around where the gardens are and everything, where they're growing produce. So this is a real nice, peaceful part of Albuquerque. This is down in the valley by the Rio Grande. And a lot of older homes, all kinds of mixed homes, you know, old adobe homes, newer homes, former ranch or farmland, I should say. A lot of it is now just estate land and stuff, but there are some working farms like these people here. So anyways, this is kind of a cool little stop off on our little North Valley jaunt today on the old scooter. Well, I'm finally back home after my nice little scooter ride. That was really a lot of fun. Had a good lunch, and you know, I'm playing hooky because what I really should be doing right now is finishing up the results video for typing assignment number 9. I just started the whole process this morning. Then I got sidetracked with a little front yard project, and then I went on my scooter ride because it was a great autumn day, and we're not going to have too many autumn days before it gets cold, so take advantage of it. The thing about motor scooters is that not every day's journey is a trek or is a long, lengthy road trip, but scooters are intended to be practical devices for your daily application. And so Today was a great example. I wanted just to get out a little bit, have lunch, go to someplace nice and scenic, have a nice little ride through some nice neighborhoods. And that's the thing about scootering is it's impromptu. You don't require as much preparation ahead of time necessarily as you would with, for instance, a full-size motorcycle where you got to get all geared up and put on your boots and your leathers and all that stuff. Scootering is more you just grab and go, and so there's an impromptu feel about it, and that was kind of part of what today's journey was all about. One of these days, I'm going to have a video capability where I can shoot some good quality video from the scooter in motion. But until then, you'll just have to accept the fact that I had a really good ride. And one of the nice things about the scootering is, especially when you're running through these little quiet neighborhoods, cul-de-sacs, narrow lanes that are more country-like, even though they're in the city. But motor scooters, at least this Honda that I have, don't make much noise. It's not like you're riding around a big V-twin Harley or anything that's loud. No, these things are kind of quiet and discreet, and so you can putter around in these backcountry roads and streets into people's neighborhoods, deep into neighborhoods where you don't expect strange vehicles to be driving, and you're less noticeable. So there is kind of a little sustainability about scootering in this regard, as it is kind of a little more quiet and discreet. So you might be wondering about the performance of the scooter. I weigh about 210 pounds, and this is a 150cc single-cylinder motorcycle. It actually does pretty darn good on city streets. I haven't had it out on a highway or anything, and I don't, of course, wouldn't take it on an interstate highway. I'm not really sure what the top speed is, but for around town, it does every bit as good as a normal car. And this is one of the things about these kind of well-made motor scooters is they're adequate. I've always told people the problem with full-size motorcycles, at least sport bikes, is there's way more horsepower than you actually need. There's way more speed than you actually need. Whereas this motor scooter, yeah, it's tooling around at a higher percentage of its maximum power all the time, but it's adequate for city driving. I pull away from a stoplight and I can outpace the average car pretty easily. I can go uphill and accelerate, and so yeah, it's pretty adequate for my needs. Now, of course, there's a motivation. If I lost 20 pounds, I could actually increase the performance of the bike. So maybe that's a little bit of motivation I need. So today's lunch outing to the Flying Star on Rio Grande was due to the fact that my wife was having lunch with her girlfriend. So she had an outing of her own, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go out and have some lunch myself. I've done this a number of times, go to coffee shops by myself, cafes, and normally I would do something like take a notebook, maybe even a small typewriter, do a little writing, whatever, but today, of course, I have the little camera rig, the little phone, mobile device, and the external microphone on the little Joby pod. So I was more like just shooting video in the courtyard of the Flying Star. That was what I was doing. But there's always something you have to do. You have to take with you when you're going to a cafe by yourself, other than sitting there and just surfing the internet. You have to look like you're occupied. In the meantime, this is Joe Van Cleve, and this has been another episode of the Motor Scooter Diaries. You guys stay safe out there and keep both wheels down. Until next time, have a great day.